Hey everybody, welcome to Mammoth Interactive's YouTube channel. First of all, I want to thank you for watching this video. And remember that this channel doesn't do Patreon. Instead, we sell our digital courses down below. And every single dollar that we get from the products you buy below goes into making more content. The best way to help out this channel and Mammoth Interactive is to subscribe to Mammoth Interactive's huge library of content. Get thousands of hours and hundreds of courses for a low price down below. We have a monthly option and a yearly option. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the video.
Hello everyone and welcome to Photoshop. As you can see here, we want to create a new canvas. We can just simply, or a new file, we can just simply click on new, and a menu here will pop up. This is the settings for your canvas size. As you can see here, we are currently set to 50 by 50 pixel size. That's actually really small. You can change up the numbers here to match whatever need that you want, the resolution and color mode. There's also other things such as changing your background to a different color. We can make it transparent or well, black, white, or just other type of colors. Different color profile and different aspect ratio of your pixel sizes. You can actually change that up as well if you need to change it. Anyways, 50 by 50 pixel size isn't actually a default setting in here. I've actually made this for a previous project before. Just simply type the settings in if you're going to be reusing the same canvas size again and again. You just type in whatever number you want, and you can just simply change up the name of your file here and then save that preset, and you get it in our file section right here. Also 100 by 100, I've used that before, so it's set in here now. You can also delete presets if you don't like those anymore, but since I might still be using 50 by 50 pixel sizes, I'm not going to do that. And yeah, you can just switch over to whatever size of canvas that you want and just click OK, and you'll start with a new project. Now, if you're not seeing this new file dialog page right here, you might be using the non-legacy type of new document tab. I'm just gonna close this and show you how to switch it to what I'm using right here. You don't have to. I'm just more used to the the setting that I have right here. As you can see right here, if you go into preferences, if you click on Photoshop preferences, go in general. Right here under options, you'll see a use legacy new document interface. If you're not using that, you're gonna get like this a larger, more I feel like it's more cluttered type of new project section right here. It's just all over the place. There's a bunch of options here, but I rather keep it simple and just set whatever settings I want myself. But yeah, you have those settings all over here. The 50 by 50 pixels, you can set whatever you want, and you should be able to save your own settings right here as well. It's just yeah, it's as I said again, it's a little cluttered looking. I don't really like it, so yeah, I just set it right over to the old legacy new document interface. And that's pretty much it for creating a new document in Photoshop. Let's just do one right here. Let's go, let's call this Photoshop Fun. And we'll use a large size, 2048 by 2048, or 1240 by 1240. Yeah, go something like that. Doesn't have to be too big. All these settings are okay. Just gonna go like that. And click OK, and it should help you create a new new section right here. Now usually it won't show the sort of video timeline here, probably because I was using it before. You can just turn that off and go down to the Windows timeline, turn that off. And as you can see, there's also the grids on your image here. You can turn those off as well. Let's just go to View, and it should be extra show grid. Turn that off, and you get a fresh clean canvas right here, just blank slate. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And with the introduction of opening up a new file for Photoshop, and yeah, we can just go ahead and start painting whatever in the next video. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Okay, now a short video on the basic navigational controls in Photoshop. As you can see right here, we have our blank slate, our canvas right here. If we want to, say, zoom in somewhere, you can simply just click on Alt and use your middle mouse wheel. Simply scroll. You can scroll in and out towards any area. Say, if you're where your mouse is located. Actually, I'll draw something a bit faster to see. Let's draw like a face or something. Let's go like this. Happy face. No tongue. And say if we want to just go right here, we want to zoom in, we can zoom right here, and we can put our mouse over here and zoom right here. It's pretty simple. Now if you want to move or pan it side to side, you can just simply hold on spacebar and left click. So, well, actually I'm too far away, I can see the whole thing, so it won't really let me sort of pan. Now if I'm a little closer, you can just hold spacebar, left click, and drag side to side, up and down, doesn't really matter where. Now if you don't have a mouse wheel on your mouse for some reason, you can simply click on Alt and spacebar. And with that, you can just simply go in left click and slightly shift around, move right to go closer, move left to zoom out. It's very simple. It's the same thing if your mouse is over here. You should be able to zoom towards the area that you're pointing at. It's really straightforward, simple, and easy. And there you go. Now you have the sort of basic navigational controls down. You should be able to just play around in Photoshop quite easily now. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Hello everyone. To help you get accustomed to working in Photoshop, I'll just show you the basic areas of the certain tools and things that you should know. As you can see on the left hand side here, right here in Photoshop, you can see that all these icons and tools, this is our toolbar. We're going to be using all these individual tools to sort of create our pieces on our canvas here. As you can see, if you sort of just gloss over on these areas here, if you sort of put your mouse over, just hang over for like a second or two, it'll show you the names and the hotkey that it uses, and you can just use those to sort of select and get used to looking at and using these tools right here. Now as you can see, each individual sort of icon here has a tiny little drop down menu, or this little icon that shows there's a drop down menu. You can right click on the icon and there will be additional options here, different types of tools that are slightly related to the first tool. Say this is the move tool. It's a marquee right here. If you right click, you can go from rectangular to a circular or elliptical sort of selection tool, singular row, singular column, and so forth. Each icon has multiple options, as you can see here, and you can just sort of test around, play around with all these different types of options here. I'm going to go back into the Marquee Tool. It's easier to sort of just go back to and sort of deselecting everything. As you can see up top, here are additional individual sort of options for those brushes. Say if we go into the paintbrush here, you can change up the size of our paintbrush, what mode you want it to be using, the opacity, flow of your brush. Every single tool has different options. Again, you can just sort of explore slightly what you want later on. Next up, as you can see on the right side here, this little section right here, you can go in here Say we have our brush selected right here. There's additional brush options, different types of brushes that you can use. You can change up the angles of your brushes. Now, actually, you can also just click right here up top. It should get that menu out for you. You can go to the brush presets, change up your brush, use a different type of brush to sort of paint around. And yeah, that's pretty much it. These sections right here, device preview, I don't need to worry about that. Properties of your different types of layers and different histories. You can sort of jump back to wherever you previously were at. And the color wheel right here, or hue saturation volume right here. You can select individual colors and sort of use those to paint whatever color you want on here. And as you can see here, this tiny area here down below, bottom right, or just this section. This is all the different types of layer options for your layers. If you create a new one, you can just change up that layer with these individual options here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not really that detailed. Well, Photoshop is quite detailed, but once you get used to certain things, everything just starts getting easier. And just get yourself used to the locations of each sort of these options here, and you'll be pretty set to continue on later on. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Hello everyone, we're back in Photoshop, and we're just gonna start from scratch here. I'm just going to show you the basic usages of each and every sort of tool right here. Well, almost all the tools right here. And I'm not going to dive too deep into them because each tool has additional sort of options in them if you right click on these, as I said before. Now, first off, let's just go ahead and start off with the Move tool here. Basically, you use this tool to move whatever painted object that you've selected or have in a certain layer. For example, I'm just going to go create a new layer here. And we are just going to use the brush tool. I've used a 400 size brush, well, 400 pixel size brush size right here. Just going to go ahead and click in the center, create a black dot right there. And let's go back into Move tool. You can just select this layer right here, anywhere here. We just move it. It's going to move the entire layer. Well, the entire all the things that are inside the layer are going to be moved. So if I were to say paint another bit right here, let's make a sort of dice or something. Move this. We'll move the entire section. So it's not just that area that I've painted in the first place. It's going to move the entire layer. Next up, we have the Marquee Tool. Now, with the Marquee Tool, when you say select something, it's just like a general sort of selection. Say select this area here, and we can combine it with the Move tool. It's sort of just move this, just select the object here. As you can see, there's like this little tiny selection, this wire right here. You can move this bit inside your layer, and you can also sort of let's go back in Marquee, deselect, say select a portion or maybe a tiny portion in here. We can cut out this section right here. Just move this, move it out, and there you go. It's basically just a selection tool for Photoshop. Now, next up, we also have the sort of lasso. The lasso here, you can paint a more precise sort of selection of areas here. Say you wanted to create a, I guess, sort of a star-like shape or something, and just lasso it out and just end it right there, and you can get your selection. You can click on Command if you're on Mac, Control if you're on PC. You get to cut out that space right there, and there you go. You have the selection of a star that you've made right there. Gonna go back in the Marquee, deselect. To undo, just simply click on Command Z. Actually, Command Z, Command Alt and Z because I did multiple sort of actions. If you just do Command Z, it's just gonna repeat the action again and again. To go further down in actions, you can again click Command Alt and Z, or you can just simply go into the Histories tab here and just select wherever you want it to go back to. Now, there's also something else. If you want to increase there are sort of limited undos that you can do. So you can sort of change it up right here. History states, I've set it to 1000 or the maximum. So you can undo up to 1,000, or you can do up to 1,000 actions, and you can still undo it to the very first point. So it's just in case type of thing. You can set it lower, so it doesn't cause any issues with the computer. Sometimes if it's too high, like it sort of saves your file. Well, the histories makes it longer and longer, and your files get larger and larger, and that might cause some performance issues. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Next up, you have the Magic Select tool. For this, you can it's basically a sort of smart selection. It kind of selects these certain color ranges because our background right here, it's not white, it's actually transparent. And let's see, let's change a different color right here. Let's go with green. We're going to paint an area here. Let's go paint it here. Oh. Paint this section. If you're using the Magic Select tool, it will select either green or black because we have a sort of tolerance level right here. You could change it up, make it like harder to select certain ranges. If we have sort of a gray or sort of dark gray color here, let's paint this in. I'll show you. Let's go something like this, maybe darker, a little bit slight darker, like so. You can use the Magic Select tool, and if you increase tolerance, say 60, I think 60 it'll select areas that are sort of close in the color range to it. Because 60 is quite high, it will also select in the gray here. And since it's connected to the black, I'll also select this entire section. So this entire area here has been selected. And it's still not selecting the green because this green is slightly way off from the sort of color range of the black and grays. But yeah, that's pretty much it with the Magic Select tool. It's quite interesting. Let's switch it back to 20 just in case. Next up, we have the Crop tool. If you know what cropping is, it's really simple. You just crop a certain section, and you can just work on that area there. Next up, we have the Eyedropper tool. This is basically just for the colors. You can, if you've previously had a color that you forgot what type of color it was, or what the number was, you can slightly just like grab the color right here. As you can see, we're using currently black in our color swatch here, or our color wheel right here. If we click on the gray, it'll just jump back to it. Click on green, it'll go back to it. It's just basically, what Eyedropper does is just it grabs the certain color that you were using. Now there is the Spot Healing tool next. Spot Healing sort of combines the sort of selected area that you had, sort of combines it, makes it sort of mesh together. So as you can see right here, I sort of grabbed the green and black section right here, and it sort of tries its best to automatically merge them or sort of make them look more natural, I guess. Let's go into gray and black. Let's try that instead. And same thing, it just tries to like push them together. And the brush tool, we've used it before. It's really simple. Just use this. You can change it up, paint things. You can change the size of your brush over here, manually sort of typing in or dragging this in, making it smaller or larger. It depends on what you want. Or you can actually just click on the brackets right here on your keyboard, You can just make it smaller. It goes by a certain size. I think it goes by 50s. Yes, it does. It goes by 50 increments of 50s, and it gets like smaller and smaller later on. But yeah, that's pretty much a very simple hotkey right there that you can use. It's quite useful, and you can just change your brush on the fly. Next up, you have the stamp tool. The stamp tool basically takes a copy of the area you've sort of grabbed and paints it. I'm just going to go and sort of say select, make a larger selection right here. To select with the stamp tool, you're going to click on Alt. You'll select this shape right here. As you can see, there is a preview, a slight preview in your brush right here. It kind of grabbed the area here where the black and green kind of meet, and you can just paint this section here. You can paint it again. It sort of goes on with it, so it follows the area here, and you can just copy paste, sort of paint these areas here. It's quite an interesting tool to use, pretty simple to use. And then you have the history brush. The history brush basically helps you sort of fix certain things if you didn't like them. As you can see, if you go into the histories tab right here, you can go up to the original image, which was a sort of untitled, just plain looking white background right here. We can, let's see, what was this layer like? Nope, not good. Let's go like this. Go back to our first dot right here. And we're just going to go back into the clone stamp, the most recent action that we've done. I'm going to paint in this section. It's going to paint in the original area right there. Like all the past changes. It's going to just paint in those sections right there, and that's pretty much it for the history brush. It's quite simple. It's pretty straightforward. And yeah. Next up, you have the eraser tool right here. It's just an eraser. Generally, just shape this up, erase certain things I don't like. There you go. Next up, you have the paint bucket tool. Basically, what paint bucket does is it just simply fills in the empty areas, or say all these areas that were not filled, and or the colors. You can replace it. You can replace like the black right here with the paint bucket using the green, and it's again quite straightforward. Next up, you have the smudge tool. If you like pieces or your sort of art pieces a little bit more blurred, you can take this and just kind of blur things together, kind of mix them together. It's just imagine yourself sort of creating a piece of art or charcoal art, and you're just sort of just smudging things together to kind of create a better sort of shade of the image. You can change up the strength of your smudge tool by simply dropping it down. Right now, just notice is at 85%. That is quite high. It's probably just going to drag everything. It's not going to sort of blur things a little. You can drop it down to like 25 or something. And there you go. If you pull on it, it should sort of create this more shadow-like effect on your areas sometimes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Next up, you have the burn, or actually this is the dodge tool. Dodge tool basically just brightens things up. See, as you can see, we have this this green color. With the dodge tool, it sort of just brightens things. And the burn just basically darkens. It's the opposite. If you go in here, it should be right here, burn tool. You can just burn these areas up again, make them darker. And yeah. Next up, you have the pen tool. You can just create sort of, it's easier to create curves if you're trying to draw a straight line or something. Click enter. Oh. You can say create a path. Let's see, fill path. Let's go. As you can see, it sort of creates a pathway, the curves that you've create it for yourself. It's sort of like a selection, like the Lasso Tool kind of, but it's just a lot easier to use and to sort of just draw out these curve-like shapes. And then you have the Text Tool. It's quite straightforward. The Horizontal Type Tool, you can just draw out a section and you can just type whatever you want into it. Let's select the color. Use a bright red, that's your orange or something, so it's kind of balancing out the contrast right here. Let's say hello world. Now, as you can see, the size of our text is kind of small. We can just slightly change that up here. Maybe go 72, and there you go. We have some text right here. You can go back into it, just simply clicking on this. Oop. You can change it up right here. Hello? Oh. Let's go back in here. Yeah, you click on the text tool again. I was back in the sort of marquee tool, that's why it wasn't working. Yeah, click on it, and then you can just edit it again. Let's go like exclamation marks. You can also change up the other options here. You can make it, centered, right, and whatever section you want, type of column. And the text itself, you can change it up. Instead of Arial black, there's a bunch of options here that you can use. And yeah, there you go. Next up, you have the sort of the select tool as well. It's generally just simple sort of selection, sort of path selection, direct selections right here. Let's see. Oh, I forgot. I accidentally clicked enter and sort of removed the pen path selection that we've made before. Let's go again. I'm just going to paint a random sort of section right here and just end it here. Ooh. Zoom in. Basically what the direct select and the path select options does is you can sort of grab the individual sort of anchor points of your the pen marks that you sort of made and just move them around. You can also access them here by clicking Alt or actually Command and Control. Oh, don't need that. I'm going to delete that piece right here. But yeah, that's just basically it's the tool that helps with the pen tool. I'm just going to click Enter and just deselect it again. Let's go over into the sort of rectangular tool. There's multiple options that you can draw from. It's quite simple. Just simply draw any type of shape here, and you get options of filling them with the colors and their sort of outlines. It's quite easy for you to sort of just create, I guess, a banner with this. It's pretty straightforward using that. And then you have the pan tool, which you can use the space bar if you're closer. Let's just move that instead of just clicking on this tool. Then you have the Magnification Tool. You can zoom in or zoom out. But again, you can just simply use Alt and use your mouse wheel to just scroll in and out. Or you can use Alt spacebar, drag it in and out. It's basically just zooms in or out. Yeah, that's basically it. You also have the sort of colors right here that you have. The foreground and sort of background colors that you can use. You can just use these, click on those, select your color, and you're pretty much done. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the basic controls of your tools right here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Okay, now that I've shown you kind of the basics of all the default tools in Photoshop, let's go into their sort of secondary options, and I'll kind of explain things there. Now, as you can see under Remove Tool, there is the Artboard Tool, this thing basically kind of creates a separate layer. If we draw sort of this section right here, it sort of cuts away everything else and just sort of isolates everything. As you can see, your layers over here have slightly changed, and under your layers, everything else is contained within that. All the things that you see on your canvas before are contained over here. Since the rectangular piece that we've sort of made right here, randomly drew, isn't within this zone right here, it's outside of the layer. And this is to basically help you create sort of banners and things like that. Just makes it easier for you to make things, and you can maybe make a new one, new layers, and you can add things in here as well. Just gonna undo everything. Control, not Control, Command Alt Z. Just gonna undo everything. Just jump out of the artboard mode right there. Next up, you can see here the Marquee Tool. We don't have to go too deep into it. There's just different shapes and options under the other options here. If you go over into the Lasso Tool here, there is the other options right there. As you can see here, this is just normal Lasso Tool. The current one that we've been using was the Polygonal Lasso Tool. With this, if you were to say click somewhere, it'll sort of select another point. For the normal Lasso Tool, it's basically freehand. You just draw wherever, and it creates a selection, as you can see here. Now, the more interesting sort of Lasso Tool is the magnetic Lasso Tool right here. It sort of creates this a sort of sticky, I guess, selection onto the general areas here. If you sort of just jump around and drag around, it should just follow the outline of the said color. If I just reconnect everything, it'll just select, say, our circle right here. The magnetic Lasso Tool basically just makes it easier for you to sort of select things right on the, I guess, the edge of certain things. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I can go back into Marquee Tool and just deselect things here. In the Magic Select tool, there's a quick selection tool. It's basically the same thing. It's just you just manually draw certain areas and sort of just select those pieces. If you can kind of see more clearly, you can see it. You just paint a general area. It should select the colors that you've sort of grabbed. And that's pretty much it as well. The crop section, perspective crop, slice tool, all these tools basically just all has to do with the cropping. I don't have to worry too much about it. Also, the eyedropper, there's additional options here, ruler tools, number count. You can, I guess, just plop things down if you want, but don't generally touch on those much. Next up, you have the spot healing, normal healing. These are all generally the same. They do basically the same things. You can just, sort of meld things together. A little side note about the healing brushes. To select a certain area, it's like the stamp tool, and you just hold on Alt and select a certain area here that you want to sort of paint, and your sort of mouse area, your brush turns into that selected area, and you sort of just meld things together with it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Brush, you have the brush, pencil, color replacement tool, color mixer tool. It's generally all the painting type of brushes right here. It's really straightforward, don't have to worry too much. The pattern stamp tool, slightly different from the clone stamp tool. Pattern stamp, you can select whatever patterns you want here, and you can just sort of place those patterns down. It just makes sort of repeating patterns really easy to sort of made. Now, our history tool, there is a art history brush. It's a lot. It's quite different compared to the normal history brush tool. The art history brush tool kind of creates a sort of weird pattern, I'd say, type of as you can see right here, a type of design right here. You have different styles that you can select from. It's just something they don't really touch on as well. You can, just create these instead, undo those. Don't really like looking at that. Yeah, that's generally what the art history brush is. It also, it's pretty much related to the the normal history brush tool, but it adds on those weird gimmicks with the different styles of brushes. And yeah, I don't have to touch up on those too. Eraser, magic erase tool, background erase. Generally all just erase tools. Magic erase is a little bit special. You can erase certain colors or with a specific sort of tolerance level. You can sort of just, I guess, you can tone this down and just mass erase certain areas. Like, say, this area here, you don't want the grays. It'll just delete the grays. It'll kind of erase some parts of the black areas that are sort of melded in with the grays. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Faster way of erasing sections. Not exactly that precise, but still pretty good. The gradient tool and paint bucket is over here. You can just create a new layer or something, and we can go and create a sort of, well, gradients or so. Yeah, put this layer behind our patterns here. And if you want to change up the colors of your gradients, it's really simple. Just click on the sort of color, gradient editor right here, and you can just select this color, the black. Let's switch it over to, actually, wait, it should be this one right here. Click on this. Let's go with a light blue or something. Click OK, OK, and let's try using gradients again. Just paint it over here. As you can see, it just changes your colors. We have our sort of interesting gradient, blue to orange. You can also change the patterns too, and just click on these different styles here. There's like a centered sort of gradients right here. You can use that, and actually that's like the center right there, so I can change that. Yeah, there's multiple different styles that you can choose from. You can kind of tell right there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. In the Smudge Tool, this section right here, you have the Blur Tool and the Sharpen Tool. Blur basically just blurs. Say you have this, let's go back to our circle area here. If we use the Blur Tool, we'll take a sort of sharpened edge of our circle black dot right here. If you click on blur, it should sort of turn this into a more blurred area here. And click a few times to make it blurred, and you can kind of tell that this part is sharper and this part just sort of turns into a more glossy, not glossy, a little foggy looking blurred feel. You can change up the strength, make it 100%, just go right at it and it'll turn into it just basically blur a lot faster. And sharpen does the opposite, and it should just sharpen it back a little. It's not always perfect, but sometimes it's a decent sort of tool to use. Dodge, burn. I think I already played around burn before. It just turns things a little bit darker. And sponge, generally just kind of, I guess it's kind of like a wet sponge type of effect on things. It just blurs out sort of areas here, splotches colors. Pen tool, generally these are all the different controls of your pen tool. Just like, well, you can add anchor points, delete anchor points, sort of move them, and that's pretty much it. The text, you can go for horizontal, vertical, and just create whatever type of text. Straightforward as well. The movement tools, I already sort of showed you how to use them. It's basically just another sort of option of movement for your pen tool, and that's pretty much it. The rectangular shapes, you have different options of making different types of shapes, and that's pretty much it. And yeah, that's just a kind of fast breakdown of the other options and different tools of your toolbar here that you can use in Photoshop. And again, just to mention to you, all the individual tools should have options up here to sort of customize and change their certain effects up on top here. Not sure if you noticed anything there before. But yeah, there's every single tool has different options there that you can slightly tweak and change. Some have like different tolerances, I guess some flow, like opacity. Say if you want to paint something just slightly transparent, you can change that as well. You can change the modes. This is more towards the sort of layer modes right here when you're sort of painting. And paintbrush, blah blah blah. Right here, all these are basically, I guess, customizable. And yeah, that's pretty much it for our tools. And hopefully you'll get sort of used to most of them, and sort of just get used to everything. Then you'll be able to just play around and I guess edit some videos, or not videos, some photos, and or you can just, I guess, paint if you want. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this course. If you want to watch the rest of the course, the link is down below. Not only will you get the access to this course, but you'll get access to a lot of other courses in a huge bundle, and it's on sale today. So buy it before the sale ends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.